Hello everyone, this is Mam-Mary. I hope you're all doing well and you're all happy and healthy as well as safe. Please subscribe to our channel, share this video with your friends and family, as well as liking this video because it would really help out. Today we're going to be doing a video that is with the spoopy season of Halloween. If you don't know what Halloween is, it's where people dress up in different costumes and they do trick-or-treating, which is similar to Salibo, which is what we have here in the Gambia, where on different Muslim holidays, kids go out and go to different houses in their neighborhood and get money, change, or candy. So I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you'll all enjoy this wonderful book about being yourself. Okay, the name of this book is Trick or Treat, Smell My Feet. So usually on Halloween, you either get a trick or you get a treat. By Diane D. Grote. Usually on trick-or-treating, people either get a trick, which is they get scared, or they get some candy as a treat. Usually it's candy. To Amanda the Kid. This is what the author wanted the book to be. Look, Gilbert, I'm a ballerina. Lola twirled around in her tutu. It's for Halloween, she said. What are you going to be? Gilbert held up a mask he was making and said, I'm going to be one of the Martian space pilots, Captain Zig. But don't tell anyone. I don't want anyone to copy my idea. Do you usually make your Halloween costumes? Or do you buy them? Lola suddenly stopped twirling. I want to be a Martian space pilot, she cried. But I just finished making your costume, Mother said. You wanted to be a ballerina. You don't have to do everything I do, Gilbert said. But I just finished making your costume, Mother said. You wanted to be a ballerina. You don't have to do everything I do, Gilbert said. Your costume is nice too. If I were you, I'd be a ballerina. You would? Lola asked. You would? Lola asked. Sure, said Gilbert, but I'm not you. So I'm going to be Captain Zig. The next day was Halloween, and Gilbert packed his Martian space pilot costume into a paper bag so he could change later at school. Lola copied him and put her pink ballerina costume into a paper bag also. You're too little to go to school, Gilbert said. I'll take you trick-or-treating when I get home, okay? Okay, said Lola. I'll practice. She held the bag open in front of Gilbert and said, Trick-or-treat. Smell my feet, Gilbert answered. I don't want to smell your feet. That's what you're supposed to say on Halloween, Gilbert said. Lola laughed and sang, Trick or treat, smell my feet. Now give me something good to eat. Here's a treat, Gilbert said. He dropped the piece of toast he was eating into her bag. After breakfast, Gilbert grabbed his paper bag and headed for the door. Goodbye, Gilbert, Father called from the kitchen. We'll watch you in the costume parade. Lola followed her brother and said, I want to be in a parade too. You can come and watch, Gilbert says. I'll wave to you. Remember, I'll be in the Martian space pilot costume. Do you see Gilbert leaving? He seems so excited. Patty was waiting for Gilbert at the corner. What are you going to be for Halloween? She asked. Don't tell anyone, Gilbert whispered. But I'm going to be Captain Zig. I'm going to be a Martian space pilot too, said Patty. I'm going to be Admiral Xena. Hey, Gilbert said. Being a Martian space pilot was my idea. I guess we had the same idea, Patty said. I hope no one else does. Have you ever done something and someone had the exact same idea? My grandmother used to say great minds think alike. Can you see everyone getting ready for Halloween? And Halloween happens in October. Do any of you know what season October is in? It's in fall, and it's one of my favorite seasons, but I don't like the cold that much. After lunch, Mrs. Bird stood in front of the class and said, "Boys and girls, Principal Pines will be leading the parade today. We will all line up in the hall and then march single file to the main entrance and around the block. Stay with your class, and if you see your family or your neighbors, you may wave. But please do not leave the line. Then we will come back to our room and we can have our party." Have you ever been in a parade or something fun like that? Why do you think Mrs. Bird said no one should leave the line too? I think it was so that everyone could stay safe and everyone could stay on the sidewalk. Everyone shouted, "Yay!" They seemed really excited. "Now you may line up and get into your costumes," Mrs. Bird said, quietly. Yeah, do a lot of your teachers say you should be quiet? Mine do too. I talk a lot. Louis lined up behind Gilbert. He waved his monster mask in Gilbert's face and said, "Trick or treat." Gilbert laughed and said, "Smell my feet." Everyone snickered except Mrs. Bird. She said, "Louis and Gilbert, please go to the end of the line." She doesn't seem like she wants the kids to be goofing around a lot. They were the last ones in the boys' room, and some of their classmates were already in costumes. Gilbert counted 5 Martian space pilots. "I'm Captain Zig," Frank said in a deep Captain Zig voice. "I've come to save your planet." Do you ever pretend to be your favorite characters? I do. "Hey," said Gilbert, "you copied my idea. I was going to be Captain Zig." "Well," Frank said, "it looks like a lot of us had the same idea." Uh-oh. Have you ever wanted to do something that was not like what everyone else did? I have too sometimes. When the other boys finished dressing, they went back to the classroom. Not Gilbert. He wasn't excited about his costume anymore. He wished that he had thought of something different. But now it was too late. He opened his bag, closed it, and quickly blinked hard. What do you think was in his bag? He opened the bag again. He wasn't looking at his Captain Zig costume. He was looking at Lola's ballerine costume. Gilbert pulled out the frilly pink tutu. "This must be some kind of trick," he said, shook the bag, and the half-eaten piece of toast fell out. "This is definitely not a treat." I don't think he wanted his sister's costume. But some boys like to dress up in quote-unquote girls' costumes. I think that's pretty cool. And a lot of cool boys wear pink. Gilbert thought a moment. If he had Lola's costume, she must have his. She was probably wearing it right now, waiting for the parade. Gilbert needed to get it before the party. He didn't want Mrs. Bird to catch him outside without a costume on. She would think Gilbert forgot to bring one, and she had already scolded him once today. There was only one thing to do. Gilbert undressed and put on the pink tutu, tugging it up as far as it would go, because it was his little sister, so it didn't fit. Then he picked up the paper bag and tore out 2 holes for the eyes. It wasn't exactly a mask, but at least it was a disguise. He didn't want his friends to see him dressed as a ballerina. You think they would have made fun of him if he did this? I don't think that would be very nice. I think it would have been cool if he wore the ballerina costume or had been confident enough to do so. When Gilbert stepped into the hallway, his class was already passing through. No one recognized him, so he followed them down the hall and out the door. The street was lined with people watching and waving and taking pictures. Gilbert looked up and down the street, cutting in and out of the line, but he couldn't find his sister anywhere. "Hey, quit pushing," someone yelled. "It's not me." a tall space pilot said. It's that girl with the bag on her head. Please stay in line, the teacher said. Gilbert recognized Mrs. Bird's voice behind him. Then he heard another voice he knew. Look, Daddy, Gilbert's wearing my ballerine costume. Up ahead, he saw Lola standing next to his father, and she was wearing Gilbert's costume. Hey, Gilbert, she called and waved. Gilbert looked around to make sure Mrs. Bird couldn't see him leave the line. Then he rushed to Lola. I need my costume, quick, he shouted. Give me mine first. Stay with your class, boys and girls, a teacher said loudly. Gilbert grabbed Lola's hand and pulled her back towards the line with him. Lola thought she was going to be in the parade with big kids, but Gilbert pulled her right back through the line and headed for the school. Where are we going? She asked. Some place where we can switch costumes, Gilbert said. He knew that the side door was a shortcut to the bathrooms. Quick, he said, this way. Seemed like he didn't want anyone else to know, and he did sort of break the rules by leaving the line. But Lola wasn't very quick. She kept tripping over the two big costumes. By the time they had reached the boys' room, they were out of breath. Gilbert pushed the door open, and there was Louis standing in his underwear. Hey, no girls allowed, he yelled. Let's try the girls' room, Lola said helpfully. No way, Gilbert said. Come on, maybe my classroom is still empty. So, they all must have been very embarrassed. They ran down the hall to Mrs. Bird's room. They had just reached the door when Lola tripped on her costume and Gilbert tripped on Lola. They tumbled inside right into the middle of the party. Wow. He seemed to not want anyone else to know, and then he had just tripped over everyone. Gilbert's paper bag mask had flown off. Everyone was staring at him and his tutu. Gilbert did the only thing he could think of. He twirled around the room and raised his arms and said, Ta-da! There was a long silence. Gilbert, Frank asked finally, what are you supposed to be? He said, he's a ballerina, silly, Lola said as Mrs. Bird helped her to her feet. And I'm Captain Zig. Patty said, well, Gilbert, at least you didn't have the same costume as everyone else. Of course not, Gilbert said. I wanted to be something different. My sister here wanted to be a space pilot like everyone else. But not me, he said proudly. Then he twirled across the floor to the refreshment table. Soon, Father appeared at the door to take Lola home. Mrs. Bird gave her some pumpkin cookies to take back with her. Trick or treat, Mrs. Bird said, handing her the bag. Smell my feet, Lola said, taking it. She passed Gilbert on the way out. Are you still going to take me trick-or-treating later, Gilbert? I guess so. And Gilbert, what? This time, I can be the ballerina. Gilbert laughed. I don't want to be a Martian space pilot anymore. No, she said, taking Father's hand. If I were you, I'd be one, but I'm me. So I'm going to be a ballerina. She skipped out the door singing. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. And you can see them walking off, ready to go trick-or-treating. So I think this was a very interesting book. And whether you like more girl costumes or more boy costumes, I feel like everyone should be accepted to wear what they want. I hope you really enjoyed our reading of Trick or Treat, Smell My Feet. It was a very interesting book about being who you are and also being different from everyone else. I think that a good virtue for this book would be confidence. If you're wondering what confidence means, let's hear a writing from the Bible about confidence. Do not therefore throw away your confidence, for it carries a great reward. Here on the cover is a picture of a fox. which is my last name. So if you're struggling to know what confidence means, here's what confidence is about. Confidence is having faith in something or someone. It's kind of trust. When you have self-confidence, you trust that you have what it takes to handle whatever happens. When you are confident in others, you count on them. Confidence in God is a sense of trust that your Creator loves you and watches over you as you go through life. Confidence brings the strength to try new things. So whether you believe in God or not, or whether you're religious or not, I believe that we can all use confidence, especially Gilbert. In the beginning, he wasn't confident to show off his dress and his tutu to everyone else because it was different from what everyone else was doing. But in the end, he was confident and he showed off how he was dressed, and he was proud of how he was dressed because he wasn't the same as everyone else. Signs of success. The practice of confidence. So these are some things that someone who's very confident can say. I remember that I am worthy, whether I succeed or fail. I am willing to try new things. I use the gifts God gave me. I practice until I master something. I think positively. So Gilbert was able to try new things and experiment with his Halloween costume. Confidence gives me the courage to be myself. And the main thing in this book was being yourself and not being the same as everyone else. So I hope you really enjoyed this book, and I hope you carry this with you and make sure to be confident in who you are as a person. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please subscribe to this channel. Please like the video. Please share this with your friends and family. Have a wonderful day. I love you all. Thank you.